Are you tired of overpriced groceries and limited options at the supermarket? Because I know I am. Well, try Misfit Marketplace, where every box is packed with delicious organic produce at up to 40% off retail prices. That's right. You get your fresh fruits to colorful veggies. Misfit Marketplace delivers quality ingredients straight to your door. Visit misfitmarket.com and use code POD20, that is POD20, to get 20% off your first order, and tell them that Dr. T sent you. Eat well, save money, and join the Misfit movement today. On this week's episode, Wimby is starting to shake the table. Hold on now. Brackets are messed up. Big upsets in March Madness tournament. And James Harden did what? It's time for a win is a win, y'all. Let's go. It's time for the rookie rundown. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Well, we are at the height of NBA season and lots of movement going on in free agency. But before we get into all of that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast, and tell someone and tell somebody else to go ahead and join A Win is a Win, and go ahead and click that bell somewhere on your listening device for the necessary notifications. And we are proud to say that you can hear us not only on Spotify, yes, we are on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. One of the first and most notable rookies that I want to talk about, that's right, Wemby. How could you not? Victor Wembanyama. We might have to discuss him a lot. That's because he's basically a generational talent. Yep. Right now, he's got the potential to average a stat line that only 6 other players have ever been able to do. All of them being in the Hall of Fame, I might mention. Now, he's on track to average 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks per game. Now, the rest of the players that have done that, well, let's talk about them. Shaq, Patrick Ewing, Olajuwon, Kareem. How could you? If you don't put Kareem in that conversation, you're crazy. Alonzo Mourning and David Robinson. Wemby is truly a special talent. And guess what, y'all? He's just getting started. I want to talk about Derek Lively. The Mavericks, his rookie season, seems to have fallen a little under the radar, as he's been very impactful to them this season. So far, he's averaged 9.1 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks per game. Now, as the season has progressed, he slowly developed a more well-rounded offensive game to add on to his already strong defense and rebounding. Now, if he keeps moving offensively and keep improving, I think the sky might be the limit for him. Look into Oscar Thomas. Yep, that's who I want to talk about last. I feel like he deserves to have a light shined on him. Now, Thompson of the Pistons has just been ruled out for the remainder of the season with a medical condition. Now, he's been averaging 8.8 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 1.9 assists per games on Detroit. Unfortunately, he never really got a chance to hit his stride and will look towards next season. We'll see. Until then, we should appreciate the potential he's shown and wish him a speedy recovery. Sports news up next. It's that time. Yep, it's time for some sports news. Mike Tyson will be fighting Jake Paul. That's right, y'all. I said it. It's not a joke. I'm pretty sure you've heard it too. And it's something that's actually happening. I had to stop and think about that for a minute. It is actually happening. The influencer turned boxer has a current record of 9-1 with 6 knockouts, but has long been knocked out that he hasn't fought a genuine competitor. Most of his opponents are non-boxers, are previously talented athletes that are no longer in the prime of their careers. Tyson's continued that trend as the legendary competitor. He's 58 years old, his last competitive fight being 19 years ago. Tyson is still 56-6 with 44 knockouts through his career. So the power, talent, and experience is right there. The question is whether or not he can pull the stamina together to beat Paul in this fight. Now, he's just turned 27 years old and quote unquote in the midst of his prime, which prime of what? Exactly. Somebody explain that to me. Mike Tyson put a video on his Instagram. And in that video, he's sparring. And his sparring partner is not boxing with him. He's fighting for his life. Mike didn't even need to hit him with the 1-2. He hit him with the 1 and the man was done. Now Jake Paul has all of these contingencies. Well, I can wear headgear. Well, the count needs to be this. Well, this and that. All of these contingencies. Well, Jake, if you're scared, just say that. Just say that and be done with it. I'm not interested in watching it. I grew up when boxing was boxing, not this show, not for a bag. And even if it was, they still got in there as professional athletes in the sport that they belonged in. And they didn't step outside of that. You are not seeing Mike Tyson go one-on-one with Jordan for a reason. Other news comes from the NFL. Now it's becoming almost certain that 3 quarterbacks will be drafted in the top 3. Now, I have my feelings on what happened with Justin Fields. I'm going to leave that for another show. But with Chicago Bears trading Justin Fields for basically a tank of gas and a bag of potato chips and a grape soda, that leaves them to select Caleb Williams for a slam dunk pick at number 1. Now, the Commanders have the number 2 pick, and they've also shown no willingness to move down from that spot, reportedly falling in love with the QB, Drake May. The Patriots have number 3, and it's been said that they're all in on QB, Jaden Daniels. So we will see. We also have to mention that Aaron Donald has hung up his cleats. He has announced his retirement from the NFL after 10 seasons. And he just flat out admitted, y'all, I'm burnt out. Burnt out from the sport and has succeeded in everything that he set out to do. He wants to live his life. And there's nothing wrong with that. He mentioned his accolades, and one that he's most proud of is that Super Bowl victory. That game won't be the same without him. but its impact will be felt literally for decades. Now, the NFL has decided that the quote unquote tush push or brotherly shove, whichever one you want to call it, will remain a legal play throughout the 24 season. It only makes sense as the Philadelphia Eagles proved that they were the only team consistently to succeed at it. Still, the fact that the play was in question to be banned is a little frustrating, and I have to say that quarterback sneak isn't anything new. And I've cruised Twitter, I've cruised TikTok, I've cruised Instagram, I don't cruise Facebook, and I've cruised the internet. There's nothing new, people. This isn't a new NFL move. It's not. Just so happens that the Eagles were able to perfect it. Then again, the league is also attempting to ban the hip drop tackle from the game, something that the NFL Players Association has openly spoken out against. Now, at least for now, like I said, the tush push will remain a legal move until it is proven that it can't be stopped no matter who does it. And I guess we'll be waiting for that. Campus Gridiron up next. Your AI sidekick has arrived. That's right. Turn off the bat signal because Blaze is here to save the day. Blaze is an AI sidekick for overwhelmed teams of one just like you. Brainstorm and outline content ideas with AI. Go from idea to on brand content in minutes. Turn a blog post into 10 plus asset types, ads, social posts, emails, and more. Collaborate with colleagues in real time and get content approved. Go to drT23.site. That is DRT23.site. Navigate to Blaze and download today. It's time to hit that campus gridiron. Well, March Madness has officially begun, with 16 games being played on the first day of action. There were a few surprising moments, including the time when Oakland knocked off Kentucky, upset everybody's bracket, tear it up, throw it in the trash, done. Oakland entered the tournament as the 14th seed and still managed to beat the 3-seeded Kentucky. Not only that, the 3 separate 11-seeded teams were able to beat 6-seeded teams. Those squads were Duke and Scene. I can never say that word. Forgive me, y'all. Oregon, North Carolina State. Now, of course, there were some wins that people anticipated, such as North Carolina beating Wagner by nearly 30 points. Tennessee beating St. Peter's by 34 points. Now, with so much more action left to be played, there's bound to be many storylines still left to follow. And for now, the future of John Calipari as the lead head coach of Kentucky seems to be a hot topic after their devastating upset. When you go to the press conference and you say, straight-faced, right into the camera, don't even flinch, I'm not here for championships or wins or titles. I'm here to get these kids drafted. Lord, have mercy. Are you, you know, what do you say when John says something like that as a basketball player for Kentucky? How do you feel as an onlooker sitting in the stands? Who's leaving the arena with your head down? And the head coach says he's not here for the W's. He's here to get his players drafted. Seems like your priorities are in the wrong place, John. And your contract needs to be in the right place. And that means it might be time for you to go. And no, I don't mean to go across the street to Louisville either. I mean it's time for you to go. And please do not venture into the NBA. Injury report up next. Hold on, wait, guys. It's been a while, but it is time for sounding off with Tiff. That is right. I am going to waste no time and jump right into it. I saw the basketball version of two offensive linemen blocking each other in football. If you were busy, perhaps working, perhaps having dinner, doing laundry, and you just so happen to not be in front of the television to see exactly what took place. My goodness. James Harden, he passes out to Kawhi and then proceeds to contest Kawhi's 3-point attempt. Now, I've seen people arguing all over the internet after it happened, but when it happened, everyone had to go run that back. I think that was the most replayed play in NBA history for this season. Listen, just because you have a comfortable lead, it is not time for games. This is playoff basketball. Play in or get out. And if you know the league in 2024, a 17-point lead is not all that comfortable. Oh no, there are ballers. You have centers that are shooting threes from the logo. Centers. And you decide to run over and block Kawhi's 3-point attempt, and he misses. Some people might say, well, Tiff, would you feel the same way if Kawhi made? Yes. Are you kidding me? Whatever you're doing, for whatever reason, playing around because we had a lead, you're trying to give the team some identity and get the blood going and get some type of cohesive. No, don't play with me like that. Do not play games. Now, maybe you save that for practice, or we just in some playing some backyard basketball, all-star game. Yes, this is a time and place for everything. Harden's goals are beyond our understanding. He's playing a game that no one else is playing. It's like, follow me for a minute. Let's use this as an example. Harden, in his mind, ball is like a game of chess. Also, Harden, I have no idea how to play chess. Exactly. This is the most James Harden thing I have ever seen. I've ever seen. Don't play around with my shot. And Kawhi threw up his hands like, come on, dude. Are you serious? Yeah, jog off, going down the court like this was an intentional play. Harden has been on so many teams in the NBA, he probably forgot who he was playing for. At the end of the day, it makes no difference how you're feeling in the moment, playful or not. This is a professional game of basketball. This is not a shootout at practice or backyard basketball. who's hurt and who is ready to go? Well, it's time for our injury report. Couple notable injuries to discuss. News from the NFL with defensive end Chase Young. He's expected to receive neck surgery. This comes right after the New Orleans Saints signed Young to a 1-year deal, but don't worry. The team knew what they were doing. Is it just me, or is it and please feel free to jump in the chat, y'all. But is it just me, or is it just like certain players are chasing the bag right now? Washington to San Fran to the Saint. New Orleans was reportedly aware of his injury and knew he would be getting surgery. As it stands, Young is expected to be back by training camp, barring any setbacks. There's some injury news in the NBA as well. So the Kings loses Herder to both a dislocated shoulder and a labral tear. Now, Herder has started 59 games for the Kings, so his absence is most definitely going to be felt. Despite his numbers going down from last season, he's a sharpshooter that can spread the floor and offer some fear to his opposing defenses. Now, without him, the team will desperately attempt to fill that void. And lastly, a bit of injury news from the Lakers. So I'm sick and tired of I am sick and tired of talking about the Lakers and the Jets. I just had to throw that in there. Now, with Christian Wood anticipated to miss the remainder of the regular season. Wood has been sidelined for the Lakers since the middle of February with a knee issue, and now is reportedly going to receive surgery to fix said issue. The setback is a difficult one for the Lakers to swallow, especially with other injuries on the roster, including Gabe Vincent, Vanderbilt, and Reddish. LA hopes that they can get a little healthier to possibly make a playoff push. There's always an excuse for the Lakers. Look at the likeness between these two teams that comes up every single day and just about every other conversation. The Lakers were not even in the conversation. They weren't winning anything, nothing. They got a title in the bubble. Okay. Some people count that, some people don't. The Jets, all we hear is Aaron Rodgers. He wants to be a political vice president of the United States. Okay. The shooting at Sandy Hook wasn't real. Okay. What else do we need to hear about these two teams? I'm tired of it. The Jets weren't winning anything and they still haven't. The Lakers weren't winning anything and they still haven't. Injuries or not, it's not happening. So, will they make a playoff push? Leave your response down in the chat, and we're going to get into some more NBA news in the post is up next. Looking for some quality betting picks? Well, download the Discord app and join our group Bet Masters Lounge, where you can get positive EV and arbitrage along with best bets and parlays. Download Discord now, send us an invite, and get in on the action. Time for our last segment in the post. That's right, lace up those J's and let's hit the hardwood. It was a week of posterization. Yes. Get your East Bay magazines out. Clip, clip, clip. Get them up on your walls. And no, I don't mean as a screensaver on your phone. We're going to go old school. Go to Walmart. When I was growing up, it was Kmart. Value City. Get the poster, put it up on your wall. Let's start here. I'm gonna go from least to best, in my opinion. Atlanta forward, Jalen Johnson. When I tell you he left nut crackers on Austin Reeves' forehead. I mean, everything just sitting on his nose, on his forehead, on the top of his hair. Listen, when he was rising for a fast break dunk, he jammed his entire groin in Austin Reeves' face. Now, Austin Reeves, it would listen, before I get into what Austin Reeves said, you have to go and watch the replay. I'm gonna pin the link in the question uh in the comment section. So I'm gonna pin the link, copy and paste the link into your browser and just watch it for yourself. Butter pecan, pralines, walnuts, peanuts, all in the almonds, all in the man's face. Now, Austin Reeves was actually a good sport about it. And when he was asked, he said, nobody had my view of the dunk. Nobody. I know what you guys saw. No one had my view. And trust me, you don't want my view. And he laughed it off. And he was a good sport about that. I mean, some people are in their feelings and they don't like to be dunked on. They don't like to get posterized. And then it's some unspoken beef. But I mean, whew, moving on. Anthony Edwards, as we all call him, Ant-Man, had the most disrespectful dunk of the week, if you ask me. Midway through the third quarter, the Wolves had the advantage, 114 over 103, which they went on to win over the Jazz. Edwards caught a pass from Walker. Follow me on it. Imagine it. I'm going to pin the link. You can see it. Just imagine it. Just inside the 3-point line, without hesitation, Ant-Man leaps into mid-air and threw down a Hail Mary thunderous dunk over John Collins. Listen to me when I tell you that if I were Collins, I would have had to meet him in the parking lot. Knocked him down. Listen, meet me outside. How the young folks say it, meet me outside, bruh. That type of dunk. The NBA has gotten real jumpy. Now, there's been more dunks since then, and I'll bring those up next week. But for this week, listen, link will be in the chat. Please go click it and enjoy it, because the way that the NBA has gotten jumpy over, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 people getting posterized in a night sometimes. Forget a week, in a night. Not to mention the game-winning left-handed skyhook from Kyrie, who's right-handed. The man is playing lights out basketball during Ramadan, fasting for 12 hours, praying 5 times a day, not eating until the sun goes down, still playing lights out basketball. NBA is turning into something mean. Well, I'm almost out of here, y'all. On my way out, just a couple of rapid NBA updates to send your way. Kevin Durant was able to surpass Shaquille O'Neal on the all-time scoring list, which was only a matter of time. We kind of knew that was coming. Now the Suns forward is now sitting in 8th place in the all-time ranking. Shout out to KD for that. But I'm still need the Suns to get it together because listen, Cleveland fan to the bone. You already know. People who know me, if you know, you know. But I live in Phoenix. You just leave that alone. He passed Moses Malone, Carmelo Anthony, Shaq, Elvin Hayes, and Olajuwon in the standings just this year alone. And continues on. Speaking of the Suns, they went out and decided to sign Isaiah Thomas to a 10-day contract. Yes, that Isaiah Thomas, the former Boston Celtics point guard, two-time All-Star, hasn't played in the league since 2022, but is getting one more opportunity with the Suns. We'll see how it meshes. Next week, we are going to break down and dive deep into this play-in tournament because it's getting crowded around 7 and 8. It's getting crowded around that area, so we'll see who's going to show up and who's not. And if the Lakers, again, here we go. Every time you turn on the TV, we're talking about the Lakers. Well, if you don't play lights out and you don't start going on a run, you're going to be the 11th sitting at home watching everybody else play. That's going to do it for this week's episode of A Win is a Win. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. And you already know, tell someone to tell somebody else to go ahead and join. And I really like when you listen, but I like it more when you subscribe. Hit the bell for the necessary notifications, and I'll see y'all next week.